So, empathy. There are so many ways to contribute to oneself through empathy. The sorrow that we feel inside is but empathy that is not unblocked yet. We can't feel empathy for a very good reason, because it will drive us crazy with beauty. If we truly understood the way that we are seen and the way that we are loved by this universe, there is a feeling that it would drive one insane and completely in love. Therefore, empathy is not something that somebody can feel freely sometimes. It is a soft feeling that evolves through time as one understands it better as they age, because we have to live a life to truly comprehend it, though many people do not like to address it at all. This beautiful world has many different people in it, many different phenomena that we do not want to see, because we understand eventually, as we pay attention, that everything is completely, insanely us. This fish that we caught today wasn't actually ours. It was us. It was us not just because it just was. There was a similarity. We both had organs. We had skin. We had bones. We had eyes. We had fins, arms and legs. But we didn't have one thing. We didn't have one thing that we had between us, perhaps. We didn't have understanding of what each other was. The fish died, and it filled my body with laughter and sadness at the same time. When the spirit enters, I can feel it. And then it came out through the crown of my head as it polarized me into a feeling of grief for being there and filming it die, for taking its last breath, as my experience was in alignment with its death. And this energy filled me up so much that this fish became everything that I ever have been in that moment when I absorbed its life. And this body that I have became forever its home later when we ate it for dinner. The easy thing to remember always is that everything is the same. All things are exactly as each other are, one. We do not like to understand it, but each species of being, including inanimate objects, which are in themselves a species. Everything that you see, touch and interact with, even those things that you cannot see, are entirely us. We have no separateness from everything here. Everything is completely us. Just because the fish had eyes doesn't mean it was more like me. So the grief was no less for a cabbage. The grief was no less for a cucumber, or a tomato, an onion, or a capsicum. A sauce made of spices, entirely out of herbs and other beings. Even water added still had its own mind. And we come to realize, I feel later in life, that all things are one, inevitably as we become weak, and through our weakness we understand what frailty really is with age. But many of us cannot see it when we are young and we have little to worry about. But empathy should be something that is understood very early on if you would like to understand yourself more, as it is the integration of ourselves into the cosmic blueprint entirely. The more you recognize that empathy for all things, that empathy is all things, the less you are in mind and the more you are everywhere, as you feel what it is like to be chopped, what it is to be cut, and what it is to be fried. You also understand through those things, through that death is inevitable, yet it isn't the end. There's always celebration in the end. There's always kindness and there's always joy, as it will live through you, whatever you ate, forever. It will continue its journey through your form. The cells that we have are not what we think they are. We are a collection of everything that we ever ate and all the things that we've ever done. Even parasites that live in our bodies are completely entwined with us. There is no way to hide from the idea that all is all is all. This body that I have is partially consumed by bacteria, viruses, and other things that take away its glow. We are conscious. They are conscious too. Everything around us is completely made this way. We are constantly eating and we're constantly being eaten. We are constantly being fed to other beings. It's an intricate network without which we cannot live. We are conscious of this. We should be conscious of this on all levels. If we cannot see the true meaning of our being here, an empathetic connection to all beings, where could we possibly fit in with ourselves? How and why? If you can't feel the pain of a cucumber or the struggle of a cauliflower, the death that you are creating for yourself is inside. Becoming one with yourself alone without considering any other creature on the planet isn't just wrong. It's segregation of yourself from everything that's ever been and anything that could be future-wise. It's inability to be healthy and shiny. It is the inability to be yourself. It's the vortex of lies. If you don't want to be empathetic to another person, let alone a cucumber, perhaps there's a likely chance that there is something very wrong inside. If this feels bad, but that feels good, what is the difference? Why is a familiar organism more important than one that you do not identify as real or feeling? What is the most important thing about this? But why is this unimportant or even fun? What's the meaning behind these eyes, and why is this eye not meaningful enough? What are these eyes telling you? And why is this eye inside you not working? Or is it well? Why do you want to be free while eating only vegetables, in judgment of ones who do not eat vegetables only? What is the meaning behind you and your specific type of being? And why is it that you favor fish over meat? What's the difference between species, and why is it that inanimate objects are treated as trash? What do you think you deserve when you throw something out but keep something behind? What is it about you if you are afraid of death? Who are you if you do not like the look of yourself eating a meal with animal in it, if you are one of those people, yet you enjoy the idea of roughing up somebody else's feathers for the ideal of good eating and being? Why do you have to always fight? Is it more important to be right than wrong? Do you want to be free? Do you feel as if you could be? Can you imagine a life where you do not have to eat or drink? It's impossible here. Yet. Why do we eat living beings? Why do we have to consume living things? Because we're proud to be learning here. Very simple tactic. And that's being one with something through consumption. Eventually we become whole through knowing how you are in all life situations and understanding what you are like with all types of being. Cycles of being, ways of eating, ways of interacting. I killed a fish today because I was present to it and I didn't rescue it. I ate it and I understood very little about it. But should I have wondered about what it would have done in the ocean instead of what it would have done on my plate? Maybe I would have been free as well. Perhaps I too could have swum away from one circumstance and into another. Perhaps as I did not want to eat vegetables, maybe one day I too would grow and evolve more. If I didn't want to eat cow's milk or cheese, maybe eventually I too would be maternal in a full spectrum of it. If I did perhaps one day wish for somebody to be themselves and just do their own thing without me filming them, perhaps I too would be free from all of this business. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed talking to myself tonight.